For nearly 18 years, a woman in Colorado Springs sat in prison, serving a life sentence, convicted of starting a house fire that killed her 3 children. This week, a judge overturned that conviction, saying prosecutors hid evidence. Mark Salinger found out one of the lawyers on that case just got in trouble for something similar in his new gig.
In March of 2003, a house fire in Colorado Springs killed 3 children. Deborah Nichols and her husband Tim were soon arrested and eventually convicted of murdering their kids. Prosecutors alleged they started the fire to collect insurance money to fuel a drug addiction. Her lawyers never stopped working on the case.
I don't believe a crime occurred. This is a case where it was a house fire.
In 2023, we spoke with Janine McCabe. She represented Deborah Nichols, who always maintained her innocence.
There's really no evidence to say that this was an intentional fire started by an accelerant.
3 years ago, she didn't know what we now know today. This week, a judge in El Paso County vacated Nichols' conviction after determining that prosecutors in the El Paso County District Attorney's Office withheld exculpatory evidence from a CBI investigator who said there was no sign that accelerants were used in the fire. That revelation was never made public by prosecutors or shared in court. The suppressed exculpatory evidence in this case undermines the core foundation of the prosecutor's case, the judge wrote, overturning the conviction.
Deb Nichols' case is, in my opinion, the most egregious example of prosecutorial misconduct so far in Colorado history.
Ira Seaton is a defense attorney who now devotes her time towards examining prosecutorial misconduct.
You have a woman who's nearly been in prison for 20 years while the prosecutors have been sitting on top of this absolute evidence of innocence.
One of the 2 prosecutors that secured Nichols' conviction back in 2008 was Jeff Lindsay. Lindsay is now the Republican district attorney in the nearby 11th Judicial District. Just last month, Lindsay and the entire DA's office he now runs were disqualified and kicked off a completely separate murder case in Fremont County for what a judge called a pattern of discovery violations, withholding evidence.
What kind of damage can be done to a community when prosecutors are not held accountable for lying and hiding evidence of innocence?
Lindsay told me today he was the junior prosecutor on the Nichols case nearly 2 decades ago and hasn't paid attention to the case through its appeals. News articles at the time showed he gave the opening statements to the jury in the trial that would eventually convict Deborah Nichols of murder. The El Paso County District Attorney is now Michael Allen, who is also running for State Attorney General as a Republican. He was not the DA at the time of Nichols' conviction. His office told me today they disagree with the district court's ruling overturning the conviction and are prepared to retry the case against Deborah Nichols, Kyle.
But it's such a fundamental issue, right, Mark, that the horror show, the nightmare that they outline here, that prosecutors had evidence, kept it from the defense, kept it from the judge, kept it from the jury.
And the impact that can have, nearly 2 decades in prison. Again, now this will go to trial again in theory. We'll see what happens if that happens, Kyle.
All right, Mark Salinger, thank you.